We know the first game for the next Xbox. I experienced Xbox's biggest flaw. Let's talk about the mystery Xbox showcase. Ooh, let's discuss. What's up, guys, and welcome to Xbox Ready, the weekend edition where I gather the council and we discuss the most pressing issues going on in the Xbox world. This is like my own little Xbox variety show. There's no rules except, well, there is one rule. We got to talk about Xbox stuff.
Is there a minimum number for a council?
I think you can have a
just
council
more than
of
one?
two. It's been a rough week for Xbox, with the Redfall stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
And no performance mode on Redfall. Things like that. That's been mostly dominating the headlines. But something else disappointing happened to me specifically. And you told me this was going to happen, man. You told me this was going to happen. And I am referring to my Elite Series 2 core controller. Previous to this, people were very vocal in the comments and messaging me on Xbox Live about the issues they had experienced with the controller. I hate to say it, guys. It happened to me. I ran into my first problem with the Elite Series 2 core. I got this back in September, and my right bumper is acting up. Either it doesn't register when I hit it, or when I hit the bumper, it does it twice, like rapid fire input. So I gotta come on here, update my opinion a little bit, because I'm legally obligated to do so. They sent me this controller, and they said if your opinion ever changes, you are legally obligated to tell people. And so I am here doing that. Gosh, I am very, very bummed because I love this controller. First of all, it's gorgeous. It looks like a panda, looks like an Oreo.
It does look like a panda.
And
it looks like a DualSense Edge.
I have played many games with this Wolong Chivalry.
It was probably Wolong. You were going too hard on those Dark Souls style bosses, and
I was going hard on Wolong. I became like a parry god. Yeah. I mean, you said you had issues with your Elite Series.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys said you have
those
issues with yours.
little stick caps, they lose magnetism and they'll just like fall off sometimes.
Gosh, man, I am bummed. And so what I had to do was, and if you run into this problem as well, they actually extended the warranty for these controllers from 3 months to a year. And now I understand why. Although we were talking off camera, and it does seem that 3 months is a weirdly short time for a warranty.
Yeah, it should have been a year regardless.
Especially for a product that's almost $200. You know what I'm saying? So what you got to do if this happens to you and you want to send it back, get it repaired or get it replaced, and it's still under warranty, make sure you log into your Microsoft account, go to your devices, and register your controller. And if you want to do that, go to your devices, select Add New Device, and then put in your serial number, which is on the back and bottom of your Elite Series controller. And once you do that, you'll be able to request a repair, request a replacement, send it off, or you can go in person to a Best Buy that is authorized to do so. I was looking through the options for me. None of them were close, and they're requiring like a freaking appointment time. I was like, screw it.
Who needs appointments? Yeah,
I printed out the label, and I'm going to send it off literally after we're done with this video. This is supposed to be a turning point for the Elite Series 2 because they said we're making the Elite Series 2 core, and it has updated parts. It's
and they're putting it in the design lab. It's all right. They fix stuff pretty quick.
On one end, it's good that it happened so soon, problems with this controller. But on the other end, it's like, okay, this premium pro controller, in just 7 months, I started experiencing issues. A little bit disappointing. I'm not going to lie. So
6 out of 10 disappointing? Or
like 6 out of 10, I would say. Yeah, I'm not like crying and like busting my monitor or anything like that. But disappointing, especially because, like I said, I love it so much. And there's also one more thing I'd like to update my opinion on as well. Minecraft Legends. We were just sitting here a week ago talking about it, and we had fun at the event, and I had a pretty good time in the campaign when I was playing it for review and stuff. But I was under the assumption that when this game officially launched, which was a little earlier this week, that the PvP was going to be just as fun as what we experienced at that gameplay event that we went to in March. Because, you know, we were all like talking with each other and yelling and like just having a good time, right?
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case because there's no chat in PvP. There's no chat, and you just like ping
that's really
through the
weird.
system. I'm like, I don't know if that's like a effort to curb toxicity or so. If you're not with your boys like in Discord or on Xbox live chat, then
it's got to be because it's like a kids game, right? Like they don't want it to turn into a Call of Duty lobby or something like that.
Communication was so key.
Can you ping the map at least?
You can ping the map, and then everyone gets that. And then also, I waited for like 15 minutes to get into a match. and it was just me and another person on the opposing team. I waited 15 minutes and I was like, I'm not waiting anymore, bro. I'm gonna go play something else.
So I was watching,
and that was another thing I had to backtrack on because full cross-platform support. So I imagine this game is gonna have a pretty healthy population. I can get into a Halo Infinite match in like 2 seconds, and people have been telling me that game is dead for like 6 months.
yeah, I was like in the comments on my friend of the channel, Jake Baldino's video about this game, and I saw a guy say he has a Minecraft Legends PvP community and he's been having a ton of fun. Maybe you need to find that.
Maybe I gotta do that. Maybe I gotta find that guy and get into his lobbies. Speaking of Xbox first-party games, we gotta talk about Ghostwire Tokyo.
Ghostwire Tokyo.
You mentioned it last
I haven't heard that name in a long time. Just kidding. I said it a week ago.
Many an age. You said it was running like crap, but I hadn't played it yet. But now, infamously, Digital Foundry has gone on to say that the Xbox version of Ghostwire Tokyo is massively disappointing.
Not that the PS5 version runs well. Like, I wasn't trying to say that. I mean, even the PC version has some like hard hitching because I have it on both. I ended up playing through it on PS5 because the like slowdown was the console kind where it's like the game goes into slow motion, whereas if you're playing on PC, it'll hard freeze for 3 seconds. I don't know, different strokes, but that's like much worse. This game, I noticed that it has the insane amount of graphic modes that you get on PS5 are still there on Xbox.
Like uncapped frame rate and then uncapped frame rate with like performance. Yeah, I was like, whoa, there's like 8 different modes.
Unlocked frame rate.
Yeah, I started playing on PC and I was like, okay.
Through Game Pass app?
Through the Game Pass app.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was okay. I think because of the sensitivity of the mouse, it was like having a little bit of a harder time keeping up with whenever I was turning.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, in order to get a better idea of what people are talking about, specifically Digital Foundry is talking about, I'm going to play it on my Series X. And so I ended up doing that, and then you can be the judge, guys, because I recorded footage in performance mode and in quality mode. It's confusing because sometimes the game looks really good and cool.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it looks like doggy freaking doo-doo, bro. Especially when it rains. It's like whenever like the rain looks like crap.
So do you know why?
Like,
do you know why the rain? It's like really controversial how the rain works in that game. It's not raindrops; they're kanji, so they look a little blurry. But if you're playing far away from the monitor or the resolution is dropping too low, they get so blurry that it looks like the rain is like messed up.
Not only does the rain look kind of weird, but it makes everything else like
and
it almost degrades the quality of like all the buildings and stuff.
It's because of the light. It's either it was either because of the resolution scaling or the lighting. Something about that was screwing up. Yeah, they're a little kanji if you look close.
And another thing I thought was weird is that sometimes they'll use this effect. It's like they're filming in, I don't know, like cinematic mode, or it's like portrait mode on your iPhone or something. Like especially when things get really spooky and like yokai are like popping out at you and you're sensing like spiritual disturbances and stuff, start to get a little blurry in your surroundings. But sometimes that effect carries over to when I'm just walking around the street. I'm like, the buildings look like blurry right
now. Like the fisheye lens type deal. Yeah,
it's like literally just like a little bit blurry. I'm like, are my glasses smudged? I don't know what's going on. And then other times it'll look fine. I think this game works really well visually and performance-wise, and closed, smaller areas.
The open
like you
world
go into an apartment that looks really cool and scary and crisp and nice, I would say. But despite all of its problems, Jim, I think the game is cool and worth checking out.
Yeah, the story's sweet. The voice. That's what I was thinking too. It's like, yeah, it's messy. It's kind of like all of their AAA games, right? Like the Evil Within 1 especially. It's messy. It's got some weird stuff in it, but like they've got the right idea. It's got a lot of heart. And I like the main story where the guy you're playing as, the story with the sister's really cool. I like the whole paranormal investigator story.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a really cool game that I wish got a little bit more time in the oven, but clearly that wouldn't have mattered because they had a whole year to get it working on Xbox and it's coming out worse. I don't really understand that.
What were they doing?
It must just be a situation where they're saying, look, this game wasn't a hot seller on PlayStation, like Returnal on Steam. You know, like this game's not a hot seller on PlayStation. How many people are really going to play it? Don't spend too much time on it. Go full force on Hi-Fi Rush. Make sure that gets out the door and gets us some sales. I would have prioritized Hi-Fi Rush over this, especially when you have the hindsight of knowing that it didn't sell all that well on PlayStation.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense when you put it like that. I'm having fun with it. I'm only like a couple of hours in though, so it's giving me kind of Yusuke Urameshi vibes from Yu Yu Hakusho, Itadori Yuji from Jujutsu Kaisen, a little bit of Avatar vibes because I'm switching back and forth between like water, fire, air. Only thing that's missing is earth. And I like
it's like 20 hours. Yeah, like a good 20-hour game. You can spend a lot longer with it. I've seen 100% it. It takes like 70 hours, but there's just so many collectibles that it's not worth it. Just go through the story, make sure you keep your stuff leveled up. But if you're like getting to the point where you're maxed out and you're still collecting the little paper dolls, stop.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I will say too. I wish I had a little bit more context with some of these Japanese mythological spirits and creatures that pop up.
I think everyone who plays this game and enjoys it should check out The Evil Within 2.
So yeah, Ghostwire Tokyo, it's available now on Game Pass, and it comes with a free update, the Spider's Thread, which apparently adds a lot of really awesome
you get an arena
combat
mode
and stuff. Arena. And there's like a roguelite mode apparently now as part of the update too. So, and if you're willing to look past the performance issues, I think it is a pretty cool game. Next up, I hate to go back to this because I've gone so long avoiding this topic, but we got to talk about the Activision Blizzard acquisition once again. I know. But the CMA is due to make a decision.
The Country Music Awards?
The Country Music Awards. Also, the people that make sure that there's no shady stuff going on in the business world in the United Kingdom.
It's a two-pronged system.
Yeah. They're going to make a final decision on Monday. So literally tomorrow, if you're watching this video.
I was like, what,
when
dude,
this
it's
launches.
Thursday.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So yeah, they're going to make a decision, a ruling, and Microsoft on the same day was invited by this gaming body in the United Kingdom to a showcase in like this government building to show off its products and stuff. If Microsoft decides to show up at the showcase, it's going to be held at 10 Downing Street, which is the residence of the Prime Minister, is what Google is telling me.
Whoa. Cool.
We don't know what products they will want to show off, but it is kind of weird timing when the CMA is going to make a decision the same day that they have this potential showcase at the Prime Minister's residence. I'm not sure like what this all means, bro.
They're probably going to show off Redfall and Forza Motorsport.
If Microsoft is invited, like would they be showing Xbox stuff, or would they be showing like Surface Pro or something? Like try to be the official like tech distributor,
the Surface Buds,
the English government. I'm not sure.
I also saw some guy in North Dakota, like a senator from there. They're really going hard against Sony now because of all this. They're like, why is this Japanese company having like such a huge monopoly? Like in Japan, I guess Sony and Nintendo don't really have to follow the same rules that if an American company was in Japan, like Microsoft.
Oh, for sure.
Like Sony gets preferential treatment from the government, this guy's saying, so they want to analyze that. This is becoming a much bigger problem than I think either side of the fence was really anticipating, because Microsoft, I feel like going into this, probably was feeling pretty confident just because of how easily that Bethesda deal went through, and then they were like, hold up.
It's like growing in Steam in terms of like
they're like, wait,
politician involvement.
What are these video game things? And then they see how much money they make, and they're like, whoa, that's a lot of lobby money that can go right into my pocket.
So Jimmy, do you remember those gamers who were getting together and trying to sue Microsoft over this deal? They kind of went by the wayside a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they threw out the civil suit and stuff.
Did it become a thing?
Sort of. There was like some interesting redactions that have been shared on Twitter when it comes to like their updated complaints. So I'll just read you the tweet in this one like highlighted section that was shared on Twitter. It says, for instance, according to one Microsoft executive, blank blank. Who is the blank blank? It kind of looks like the way it is set up and the length of it could be Phil Spencer. I don't know. It's like short first name, slightly longer last name. So it would fit the bill. They say a forthcoming title from the blank franchise may take a decade to develop.
Gotta be Halo.
Do you think Halo?
It's gotta be. Especially if they're starting over, like that's what all the rumors said. If they're counting this next game, this Battle Royale or whatever, that's going to be multiplayer only as like a stopgap, like expansion type deal for Halo Infinite, I could see them working on a single player, like full release of Halo for like a decade. Or
I thought
they've been working on Elder Scrolls, maybe.
I thought Elder Scrolls because, I mean...
Well, that's over a decade. 2021 was a decade.
I'm thinking about it like they announced it, 2019, 2020 at this point? Or 2018? Like if they begin working on that... 10 years from 2019,
Oh my
2028, and that would coincide with the launch of presumably a new Xbox, a new generation of
Dude,
consoles.
I might not even have a car by then. What am I going to be doing in 2028? This blows. I don't want to wait till that long for Elder Scrolls, because if they're saying that long, it's going to be like 20 years. Look at how Starfield and Fallout 4 and all these other games, they take so damn long to make.
It's crazy.
They gotta figure something out. Get ChatGPT to make dungeons or something. I don't know.
ChatGPT make Elder Scrolls.
That's
and then
crazy. I would guess it's Halo.
What was the gap between 4, 5, and then
yeah, like a few years.
Master
They
Chief
got a
Collection
reboot or
and then
something.
Infinite, right? Apparently, I guess Halo Infinite was in development for close to 10 years.
Or it could be Starfield, right? Like Starfield could have been in development for 10 years.
But
by the time it comes out,
it says that it's the next installment, so it's already an existing franchise.
Ooh.
So Starfield would be out on that.
You're right. It's either Elder Scrolls or Halo, and you've convinced me that it's Elder Scrolls.
It brings me to the next point because in the same tweet, from those documents, from those updated complaints, they say access to AAA content is crucial for Microsoft. Blah 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 blah. Failure to access a new AAA content has dire consequences. In May 2022, and then there's a big ass redacted sentence, like 5 sentences or more. And I'm like, what happened in 2022? Nothing happened in May 2022. That's when we got news that Starfield and Redfall was going to be delayed.
They're probably saying like that's why we need this third-party content to like bolster our release schedule, because we had to delay those 2 games and we haven't been able to recover the momentum we lost or something like that. Like they need some bigger exclusive stuff that can rake in money for the Xbox brand while they're waiting for these bigger games that they're working on to be complete.
2022, I mean, it flew by, first of all. I mean, we're already in April 2023. Things are looking up, but yeah, it is kind of strange, like thinking back and like seeing the impact like these delays had. Like obviously it was a bummer as fans, but from a business standpoint, I'm sure it was even more of a bummer for the top brass at Xbox.
Yeah, seriously, because they were probably like stoked about those games they had to delay. But Redfall next week.
Anyway, thanks so much for joining us for another Xbox Ready update. We'll see you in the next one.